are following a developing story out of Nairobi in Kenya about a gas explosion that's left at least 3 people dead and 280 others wounded. According to the Kenyan government, a huge ball of fire was caused by gas that a truck was carrying. It apparently exploded at a gas plant. For more on the story and a look at the scene of destruction, we are joined by Larry. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Max. We don't know the cause of this explosion, but we know that this should not be here. This is a liquefied petroleum gas store and filling plant. Cooking gas is very commonly used across not just Kenya, but across East Africa. But this place was unlicensed and therefore illegal. The regulator here in Kenya says they applied for licenses in March, in June, and in July, and they were denied all 3 times for safety reasons. They're too close to a residential area, and therefore in the event of a blast, like what happened last night, it would affect so many people that live around here because this is a densely populated area. And in fact, that is what happened. So the question for so many in this community is why was this allowed to be here so long, even after the place was demolished at least twice, according to the Petroleum Institute of East Africa, and the owner of this place was even convicted and jailed, should have gone to jail for 5 years, only served a 1-year sentence, and then came right back to doing it again. And this is the impact of that. A huge ball of fire ignited over Nairobi's night sky.
Oh my God.
The screams of onlookers piercing through the sound of flames. Emergency workers racing to the scene after a gas truck exploded at what officials are calling an unlicensed plant late Thursday evening, burning down a warehouse and damaging surrounding homes. The tears of this woman falling onto a lost loved one. Multiple dead, with hundreds of others wounded.
Sasa moto ilinipata kama 1 kilometer away.
The fire caught up with me from almost 1 kilometer away as I was escaping. The flames from the explosion knocked me down and burnt me on my neck and back, as you can see.
Nairobi police are calling it a crime scene and opened an investigation on Friday. Nearby residents watching in silent shock as crime investigators dig through the ash that less than 24 hours ago were their homes. Businesses hollowed out. The scars of the flames burned in these shop walls. The extent of the damage spreading for miles. The gas explosion burned down everything in its wake, just trucks, several structures, several hundred yards in every direction. We're on the 6th floor rooftop, almost 400 yards away, broke down this wall, and most dramatic of all, a car that was blasted all this way. Parts of the car here, the rest of it strewn all across this area, and we're just a mile away from Kenya's main airport as we see a plane landing there. Residents of that building telling me of their frantic escape.
We down and the fire on top of us. So the gate was closed, but there was a stampede. We hurriedly tried to get out. I think very many people were actually injured at that moment.
Government officials already dubbing the incident as a consequence of corruption, vowing to shut down the unlicensed company who was operating inside the cooking gas filling plant.
It is totally immoral for one to risk lives of fellow Kenyans just for profit, mere profiteering. It is not acceptable for such facilities to be resident within residential areas, because these are innocent hustlers who are going through their businesses on a daily basis.
Rebuilding the damage could take months or even years. But in the hours ahead, families now having to face the reality of grief. So back on the street, look at the damage in this car. There's so many of them across this neighborhood. And this is just the impact of that gas explosion that you see in this area. The building you saw in that piece, by the way, that's all the way back there. You see the damage on the wall. And the most extraordinary thing, having been in this scene, is because it's a densely populated area, this explosion, if it happened in the middle of the day, there could have been hundreds of casualties. All the people you see here around, these are people that live here. So if they were out on the streets going about their business and this happened, the devastation could have been unspeakable, Max.
Yeah, that is one blessing, isn't it? Larry, thank you so much for joining us from Nairobi.